Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on Airport Duel between RAAAAH, playing as 8th US. He's doing a heli rush. He's going up against Gucci Gang Hots, who's playing as 11th US, which is a more tank-focused version of 8th US. It gets way less infantry, but way more tanks. So let's go through the deck reviews. Right, so this is the deck review for Gucci Gang Hots, and he's playing 11th US. I recently had an 11th US game on the channel, and he said he based the deck off that. So I'll link that in the description. Here it is. There are some key differences. First of all, he's brought the Pivads instead of the AA Helos. I don't recommend that, because at the start of the game, you can get your LRS out and do a fairly aggressive attack with this div, but if you don't have forward deployed AA, you're gonna get twatted. So and this, like, what does this really do for you? It gets outranged by Apaches and so on. I don't really think it's that good, to be honest. So I'd vastly prefer that. The other thing was, so he's vetted all his infantry, which I didn't do. I didn't vet the Panzer Grenadiers, right? And I certainly didn't bring dismounted troopers, because they're only 6 guys. Right, so you bring the flash instead. Oh, Hippie, that's 5 guys. But the point is that one flash plus one regular infantry wins any fight uh, against infantry. And this is what do you need that for? You really want the AT4s. I mean, it's 6 guys, and you get 6 of them. It's not a good idea. So you want the flash, really. And then this Iltis Milan too, like that, you just don't get enough infantry on this div to be bringing look, you know, the Mardas are down vetted. You don't get enough infantry on this div to be bringing dismount troopers and a Milan 2 team and vetting everything. So that's the reason why it is how it is. So I've got this down vetted. And then instead of these guys, I've got the aircav troopers at 1 vet because they help if the... Because you can do this aggressive strat depending on who you're matched against. And, you know, aircav troopers are useful because you get the Blackhawks. So you can bring that at 1 vet or at no vet, but you definitely can't afford to, because, like, how was it before? This wasn't there, that wasn't there, this was vetted, that was there and it was vetted, and this was here, so you only had, I mean, yeah, 12, 24, so you had 29 infantry, and furthermore, he's also not brought the second card of scouts, so you had 29 infantry, whereas I had more than that, a higher number. Uh, so yeah, you got to accommodate for the fact that you don't get enough infantry slots. So I definitely wouldn't be bringing this. I'd have that down vetted. I'd be getting the aircat because they're 9, and this like so. I appreciate you do lose one availability, but they've got 50% more dudes, 6 men, and the Black Hawk, which helps you get your you know, if you're going to use something like this, or the Sea Knights or the Hogs, Black Hawk's super useful. The only other change was he's 2 vetted his Abrams as well, so he doesn't get as many tanks. Okay, whatever. And then he brings both cards of Bradleys instead of the extra card of Scouts. That's fair enough, but if you're going to gimp your infantry tab, you would definitely need that second card of Scouts, so it probably is fine as it is now that we've made that change. And then, you know, the double A-10 doesn't really make any sense because, you know, these do the same thing, really. The rockets on it, look at the resupply time, it's 6 minutes if you fire all the rockets. So that's why I prefer the AT one. And you can do a strat where you open like quick fix A10, F16 or something. So yeah, instead of the A10 rocket, I've got this thing, which reloads in 1 minute. It doesn't one-shot a heavy tank. The point is it reloads in 1 minute, and you've got the seed with it. So you send the seed out, and then this snipes the AA piece or whatever it is. So that's that. I mean, you can build it the other way. It's just if you get caught in a fight, you're just going to run out of infantry and die. His opponent's playing 8th US, which gets plenty of infantry. He's not brought the Eyehawks because... I'm not sure about that. clearly I've failed as an educator. If there's people building 8th US decks where they bring 2 cards of Chaparrals instead of the Eyehawks, where do I even start? This shoots a lot further, right? A lot further. It does a lot more damage. It's the sort of thing you want, really. And then, yeah, you can bring the Chaparral if you want. I don't even bring that. But it's good for anti-helo. So it's got a lot more range against the helicopter than this has. So this can outrange an Apache or what have you. And then it's good that he's got some black... But you've got Blackhawks here, so you don't need these Blackhawks, do you? Really? You'd be better off bringing MMG teams. And then you need Engineers Flash for the fights in the towns and the forests and stuff. Could further optimize this, but just leave it as it is. And yeah, I think that's all good. Right, these used to be meta to bring 2 of these and put a CV next to it. Don't really know if it is anymore. With the mortars, you might want to prefer this one because mortars die a lot now. So you might want the one that you've got more of, although this shoots from further away. You need the CEV. Right. Right, typically you'd want a card of M60s and a card of CEVs. So where have all the points gone? We'll downvet that and get rid of that. And now you can come back here and you can get the CEV for anti-infantry. Not so useful against 11th ACAV, but generally it's useful in ranked. And most people prefer the M60s in this final slot here. And that's where the lack of Chaparral would come in. So I just run the Stingers downvetted, no Chaparral, and I bring the M60s. But if you're against... because like this is very expensive, and frankly I don't think it's very good. And you've got long-range fighters, and you've got 4 of those. Why do you need the Wild Weasel? It's a very, very bad seed plane. Why do you want it? You want it so you can protect your bombers. You've got 2. So it doesn't make sense to have that. The cluster plane again, very nice. So we could bring more helos. 5, 7. Yeah, so you could get rid of this because you open with these 2. And then you could get rid of 1 card of Mech Rifles Dragon because that's a lot of infantry. And you could bring 6 dudes, Law Smoke, 45 points. Yeah, that's probably the best one. You could bring that. And then you can get your M60s. Right. And then you can get your regular hogs. So this deck does have some variety. Like you can build it as an air spam deck, or you can build it as a tank spam deck, or you can build it as an imp spam deck. This is a good compromise, I think. We've kept the Chaparral and so on. Although, you know, you've only got 2 cards of supply, so that might be an issue. At which point, because like, look how much infantry you actually have here. So let's say you 1-vet these now. Okay, so that's 4, 8, 18, 24. Plus another, whatever, 6. So that's 30 infantry. Okay, well I've just given you 2 infantry, and then you can get rid of like 1 card of Mech Rifles Dragon. Like, this is nice to have as like a... You just put it on the sides and don't worry about, you know, it's just nice cheap infantry, right? Whereas these are a bit more expensive. There's a lot of overlap between the Rangers and the Mech Rifles. So now you save another 3 AP. And then you could get your 3rd card of supply. It can be this one if you want, or it can be this for like supplying the guys at the back, you know, the arty or whatever, but the Hempt can do that. And then you can upvet those. Ta-da, right? Or you can bring 4 because you expect them to die now. Yeah, the old way of doing it would be 2 of these, but I guess that's depreciated now. I don't know. Because it's got less than 1 top armor, so it gets counter batteries more easily than this. And it lost the vet that it used to get. I think that was a bit overkill, frankly. But it is still very, very nice. It's just, if you lose it, you're going to be crying, and it will die more easily than this will. And if people send stuff around the side, this can kill them, so can be worth doing that, or even this, if you're worried about counter battery killing you. And just make sure you put a CV next to them. So, yeah, this is certainly better than how we left it. Oh, this is nice for 1v1, but it is what it is. You gotta make some sacrifices. Could swap out 2 Abrams for it. I don't think that's worth it, really. Anyway, let's cast the game. Right, so with that out of the way, both players have made absolutely crippling decisions in their deck reviews that are really going to hurt them. This guy doesn't bring any Eyehawks, and he brings the Wild Weasel to protect his 2 A-10s. And this guy doesn't bring the AA helicopters, which incidentally would have been extremely useful in this situation, so that's pretty funny. Looking at the deployments, we've got, yeah, LRS going to mid, very expensive Bradley, 2 scouts, and then a heli rush of infantry heli rush. It's very expensive, like there's nobody backing you up. There's nobody backing you up, so why are you putting that there if you've got this guy going here? And, yeah, so all your infantry's going to land, and then what? You're going to have to wait about 3 minutes to get the units to actually send and reinforce them, so that's going to be interesting. Although, switching to his opponent's deployment, we've got that classic 0 AA opener. We got there is an Eyehawk. We got an Eyehawk and a Stinger. But yeah, with 11th US and 2 Pivads actually, I was completely wrong. So there are 1 Pivads. Just can't stop being wrong. Might have to start the recording again. But yeah, the AA helicopters on 11th US, really, really, really useful. Especially since the changes to plane guns, which make the AA helicopters a lot more survivable, unless the missile hits, which is very high accuracy on this plane. But yeah, unless the missile hits, you're not going to get them. So he's opened with all the heaviest units humanly possible. So typically you want to open with the lighter stuff, you know, the Marders, the Marders, the mech rifles, the LRS is there. Like you'd have, like there should be an LRS coming down here. It would get to there, because if you open with these, well, you don't have, you know, your AA is still getting there and so on. So if he just buys a bomber first stick, he's going to kill you. Now your opponent doesn't bring the F-16 cluster, which wouldn't one-shot the ACAV anyway, but it would get the Bradley. And that's 120 points. But yeah, usually these would just be hilariously exposed. 1 Eyehawk would still be getting into position, and also it's too far away to help them. It would fire, but I think the bombs would still get off. It would have to be here, basically, if you're going to use the tanks there. This is a good spot in general, because it covers the other side. So then these would die. So it's a very, you know, and then, like, yeah, you can't, I don't think you can afford to bring the Milan 2 infantry on 11th US. Unless you know you're going to get a map like Ica. Like, if it's a tournament game or something, you can specialize. You can be like, okay, it's going to be Ica. There's not too much room for maneuver. I can bring the Milan 2. But the point of the matter is you've got the Jaguar 2 and the Bradleys and the tanks and the Marders and the mech rifle dragon thing. I guess that doesn't really count. So, yeah, like you'll notice he just doesn't have any units. That is a result of his composition. So let's cast the game. Right, so they're off. It's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners. Generously joining the channel, they get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest level's worth 2,000 views, so if you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. Otherwise, please just like the video, it's free. So, you'd expect this F-16 to kill that Kiowa. He is slowly warming up to the idea. He's right-clicked it, so hopefully it... Okay, because sometimes if these are going forwards at max speed, this will just fly around in circles over and over again, so you got to manually right-click near it, and then... So you see that it almost didn't die, right? So we unload the Eyehawk, and the Eyehawk's on... it's not on auto cover, so why is it... What the hell is it doing? Right. Well, it would have got 2 shots off there and maybe saved your Bradley. I guess you have to press E to stop it from just moving a bit. And there goes the tank. I don't watch these ahead of time, it's just I play a lot of Warno, so it's pretty... You know, there's a high probability of certain things happening. Because, you know, assuming everybody's a rational actor, well, this is how I'd respond. And yeah, you had the A-10, and there goes your A-Cav, and there goes your Bradley, and your I-Hawk couldn't save them. And I don't watch them ahead of time, I just play the game a lot, so I've seen that happen many, many times, right? They say the pro has died more times than you have tried or something. Pro's lost more times than you have tried. So yeah, this guy's obviously not going to win that fight, but there's nowhere really he can go, because if he unloads any which way, one of them's going to be able to shoot him, so he's just dead. Yeah, the Blackhawks, you wouldn't sell them. You wouldn't sell them. You'd send one forwards here to scout that Bradley. You know, like this Stinger, if you just chucked all of the Blackhawks at it, you'd kill it. You do get, you know, big rebates on these, 50 points each. And same Bradley shooting each other, you'd expect the one vet one to win, but... And it did. It got a lucky crit, but you basically expect the autocannon to hit more, and it did, and it was winning anyway before that crit happened. So, yeah, I mean, this is pretty disastrous for Red. He opened all his heavy assets and they all died. It's good, though, because now he won't make that mistake next time. Pivads goes down as well. And this is where something like one of these Blackhawks would be super, super, super useful, because you just send it over and you're like, oh, there's nothing here, and then you just walk in and kill him. But yeah, Blue, for whatever reason, doesn't bring the I-Hawk. That is honestly beggar's belief. I want to see how many games this guy has that he brings 2 upvetted Chaparrals and no I-Hawk on 8th US. It's very strange. The I-Hawk has far superior range. You see, it's all about that missile. You'll notice there's a lot of overlap between these 2 divisions. You just start seeing the same ones over and over again. So yeah, this is long-range F-16. See, he's got the quick fix to scout. Although for whatever reason, you can't see it. Okay, you can see it now. And this is where, like, an A-10, an I-Hawk would just immediately route this, and then, you know, you wouldn't be losing all your stuff, but... Both players making similar mistakes, right? So you see this is the same plane as well. So he's baiting him over the Chaparral, which is smart. Okay, and he's not getting baited. Enemies behind him now, though, which is a big problem. But he's baiting him over the I-Hawk, so... you know, a lot more thought goes into this than you might think. And yes, you just right-click it with the A-10, because it has 2 of the best, second-best sidewind. Oh! Should have kept going there, he would have got the gun off on him. I guess he was worried about the Chaparral. So yeah, still +1 for Blue. And now he's buying a bunch of Stingers because he doesn't have an I-Hawk. Right? You would need, like, no Chaparral, and instead of 3 Stingers, it would be maybe 1 Stinger, 1 I-Hawk. Put the I-Hawk, like, here. And then that's it, no more planes here now. And then you get the Stinger up in case there's a helicopter. You can get 2 if you want, but... It's basically 4 units where 2 would do. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Somebody not bringing the I-Hawk when... well, actually, yeah, when the game launched, there was no I-Hawk in 8th. Because they struggled with so they had this roadmap, right? See if I can find it, because obviously both sides are just kind of... rejigging themselves now, trying to get sets up and so on. So I'll see if I can find the roadmap. And they were so late on it, it was unreal. Anyway, so he's got no supply with these, and no recon. Well, I suppose he's got this recon, so you would move the recon over so you can see the ITO, and use the hog, you know, to kill the ITO. Like, he's pinged it, but if you buy an RT or something, like, what? Okay. Oh, there you go, it's happening. You want the quick fix in front. You want the quick fix in front. So... Yeah, it was called like Never Forget or something. Anyway, they were like British units 3 months max, and it took them like 9. It was like 8 or 9 months from the early access launch. And the thing they kept getting stuck on was towed units. So strangely enough, there are 0. Well, there's one. Yes, the iHawk. So you know how this unloads, and they said that we couldn't get the animations to work properly, and all this took them absolutely ages. So when 8th launched, it didn't have the iHawk. The game launched with 79Y and 3rd Armoured, and we had a tournament on launch day with 79Y and 3rd Armoured. I was rank 1, so I was the favourite to win, but I wasn't in strike team, and so I'd only played the game for a few days, and the strike team guys just came in and just killed me straight away, so that's life, I suppose. Because they'd had it for months. I lost to Soloing Pixie, who incidentally is now, it's like a Broken Arrow developer now. Anyway, are we going to get side shot here? Both of well, the front one's got smoke, and you could just turn into it. Or this could just miss 6 times in a row. I guess that works. Well, it killed these two, so. So yeah, you need smoke, and like this is a good spot for the Jaguar too, because the tank can't actually shoot back because of the range, and you need recon. But yeah, it just came down to his deployment was really bad. Opening with the 2 Bradleys and the ACAV on a dispersed air. If it's Ica or something, then yeah, by all means, M1A1 ACAV down mid on the tower, but it's a wide map, and yeah. But yeah, this guy brings 4 Abrams at no vet and 2 Abrams at 1 vet, and he's bought the no vet one first. So that... yeah. It's not looking good for red, let's face it. And what do you know? I mean, the iHawk is just too far away for this, man. So this could attack position the iHawk. I mean, because yeah, it has to hit him twice to kill him, and it does. So there you go. I mean, it's got high accuracy. I think that's the normal outcome actually. And then yes, then he moves it, which is very smart. Not sure why he's moving it there. Surely you'd want it here. Because if you put it here, well then they should be able to see you. Depending on if he was in this building, he'd see you. So the Wild Weasel sucks absolute balls. I mean, it's just... yeah, it's really not good. The siege missile it gets is terrible. The thing is, it can't kill this because it's out of ammo. That's how that works. It automatically switches off when it's out of ammo. And there you go, the quick fix goes down. The iHawk can't do anything. But there's another F-16 back here. So you'd expect this one to win because... I mean, I guess it did, kind of. Yeah, it did. Because it got the extra missile off, right? That would have been pretty funny. There's a Stinger over here. It fired at it. I don't know if you could see that. So, yeah, we out here thinking. And basically, like 11th US, it has a power spike at the start, and then it just wants to build up, basically. So, that's what's happening, but he just lost so much in the early game. Like, once again, he's got no recon. He needs another iHawk and a Stinger, basically, and if you're blue in this case, you want to try and capture this. It's hard to cross this field, though, because if there's a tank here, he'd shoot you. This doesn't actually have the range. CUV would survive that anyway, whereas the AVRE wouldn't. CUVs are very, very powerful because of their infantry nuking ability. They're hard to use properly. A regular tank can obviously shoot at other tanks, and it's got smoke and so on, whereas this doesn't have smoke. It's slow. It's just the idea is once it gets up to the infantry, 432 suppression time. And that happens, you know, all at once, and it reloads for ages. So if it'll one-shot an ATGM team, for example. But yeah, anything like well, any infantry unit it shoots at will just either die or become useless. The bigger ones obviously won't die, but they'll just immediately have 0 cohesion, which means they have like 25% damage output. So, yeah, I mean, he's going too fast. Ihawk's going to die now, yeah, because he had it in the open and it got spotted, so Hog goes down. Yeah, 11th ACAV is it's hard to play. Certainly harder to play than 8th. 8th is the better division. In a team game, 11th ACAV can work better because you get more tanks. So if you just tank, you know, if you're on the open side of loop or whatever, you play 11th ACAV. So like me and Feds used to play a lot of Hesse. Everybody bans it against us now. Although we don't just win every tournament now. We do quite badly now. So everybody watches us play, so they know what to do, how to plan for it, what we're gonna do. Anyway, so he would go 11th ACAV on the open side, and I'd go 8th US in the town because you get more infantry, for example. Sign-ups for DEFCON 2 should still be open. I did a poll on the channel about that. It said DEFCON 2 sign-ups, so you can just check the polls and you'll see a link to the sign-ups. Depends when you're watching this. Channel members, it'll still be open when this goes up. I think everybody else, I think it'll be closed by then. Got a few videos in reserve. Depends when things come out, but it's like you see this guy. Well, this missed actually. I was aiming at something else, but anyway, yeah, this is diabolical. But his opponent doesn't have the cluster planes. Like the A-10 is going to take ages to get there. The F-16 is going to kill it basically. But then his opponent doesn't have the Ihawks, which leaves him vulnerable to air spam. Very, very strange game. But yeah, basically you'd want to get a recon up to here, like an LRS up to here, like there, and then you can start clearing this out. But the main thing you want to do is get this back, and then get this back, because the idea is, well, look, this is a big open field, this is a big open field, and so there's only 2 ways you can get to this zone. One of them is this way, as you can see, and one of them is this way, as you can see. So if you take this back, which is probably the thing you should do first because it's closest to you, and otherwise, you know, you guys here are getting shot. You take this back, then you get ATGMs in these buildings, or, because you wouldn't have those in my deck builds, you would get 1 tank here, and then they can't get across, right? Or you put the tank there, and, you know, similar. And then you come take this, you put an ATGM in there, and then they can't get in this way either. Your tanks can be here and shoot, and then you get the zone back. But he's doing neither, and he's just attacking in the middle, and he's getting shot from... Well, he should be getting shot from both sides, but his opponent hasn't taken this, which is very important. If you're on the blue side, you do the opposite. You want this. As a matter of urgency, this is the more important one. Obviously the zone, right? Then you want this, and then you want to get over here. Because... you know, you can shoot them as they're coming across. It's all about, because, look, the side armor is less than half of the front armor. So it's all about those side shots. And that's the main thing that differentiates this game from traditional RTSs, like, you know, Age of Empires, StarCraft, I guess, which I haven't played, actually, but Age of Empires was always my jam, which doesn't have directional armor. And like things like, you know, Supreme Commander and stuff like that, I don't think they have directional armor. And so you just move a big blob around the battlefield and you don't really care if you get flanked. Now there's games like, I think Beyond All Reason has this, where if you attack a unit from 2 sides, you get a, like, it just detects I'm being attacked from 2 sides, and then you get a I'm flanking you modifier. So big tank engagement here, and basically it's just like real life. The tanks are supported by the IFVs, and the IFVs are actually the ones that do most of the work. You need both, because look, this is just tanks, although he did have 1 Bradley there, and this was tanks and IFVs. And the idea is, yes, the tanks plink away at each other and they do 2 damage per hit or whatever. And then this thing comes in with its 25 pen, 275 suppression, and it just immediately, even if it misses, it absolutely cohesion nukes him. Like, look, he's got no cohesion, and that's because of the ATGMs. I mean, he had this out. But yeah, blue brings a lot of infantry and not a lot of tanks, as you know from the deck review. And you see the disadvantage of that, and you see the chaparrals all dying, because, like, the Eyehawk would be safe back here, and it wouldn't get hit, so... like, why are you putting it there? To cover this? But nothing's happening there. I suppose it makes sense, something might happen there. If you're the 8th player, honestly, you need to give up on this and go attack over here now. Because the enemy has more tanks than you, and better tanks than you. Well, the tanks are the same, but the tanks are better because he brings his at no vet. Although, I don't know if they're getting vet from kills. Yeah, this one must have vetted from kills, because there's definitely no vet before. He only brought 2 M1A1s that... Oh no, this is a standard M1, my bad. Yeah, so, like... He's just, like, you need to sort this out, because otherwise all your guys attacking here are getting shot in the side. Okay. So yeah, you need to sort this out, rather than just, I'm just going to attack everywhere. No, sort this out, and you can make it so these guys don't shoot you using, the, you know, the ATGMs, right? The Bradley outrange the tanks. And the smoke is good, to stop them from shooting you. So you... I mean, it's sort of happening by itself anyway, because his opponent is not hiding behind the buildings. You would need to click this so it goes to off, or passive. You can bind the hotkey for that, and you drag it out of the building. Oh no, sorry, it's the cover one. You want the cover off. And then you drag it behind the building and just leave it there. Right, just drag it behind the building and just leave it there. And then if the tank comes down here, you just jump back in and shoot it. But yeah, it seems that just, I mean... What kind of order is that? Where you going? But yeah, no Eyehawk. So the... And the chaparrals got taken out because they have to get really close and they weren't in cover. This has had its engine destroyed, so it can't move. I guess he can't tell because of the stunned thing. Does he have any CEVs? He does, but... I'd get another one at this point, but yeah, this guy's dead. Unless you can smoke him. Another crit. He needs, like, supply vehicles, like ground-based supply vehicles, because this is ridiculous. Because obviously the helos can't get close because of the stingers, although the stingers are all dead now. At least the one that was here has died. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of shooting going on. It looks cool. This has survived because of the target switching. Once a unit gets to 0 cohesion, its dangerousness drops to 0, which it really just shouldn't do. They should just fix that. But it is pretty absurd, actually. I've been meaning to make a video about that for a long time. It's just... It's difficult to get the clips, and it's much easier to just play a game of Warno, or cast a game of Warno. Doesn't require too much thinking. I mean, there's certainly no thinking happening in front of me. No, there's some good stuff, like when you put the smoke there so these couldn't shoot, that was good. These guys arty in the tanks, that's good. Yeah, what I'd love to see from Blue is for him to put that Eyehawk in his deck, but obviously it's way too late for that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he brings the smoke mortars himself, so what Blue can do, because Red is so light on the infantry, is he can smoke here and then counter-attack and then get... Because, like, he's just hemmed in all these buildings, and if he tries to go anywhere, he gets shot. It's a good hit on that eye-toe. You need to move them after they shoot, although this would see it move, and then he'd probably get the right building anyway. But yeah, like... He needs ground-based supply. you know, rather than just these helos. 'Cause, I mean, they're working, but his opponent should have an AA piece here shooting it. And, you know, this has been out of ammo for donkey's years. This CV you could put next to these because they're not doing anything. But, you know, you've not got anything here, so... You would want, like, a Marder here. So, you know, infantry there and put the Marder there, or you have a Jaguar 2 there or something, but that just got killed by the Ranger's Dragon. We were just chilling in this field. They look very cool, the aviators. These are transition sunglasses, and that was a mistake. They don't work when it gets too hot. I bought them for Saudi Arabia, and it was 50 Celsius, 53 Celsius, and they just wouldn't work. Like, they wouldn't go dim. And I was like, what's going on? Could have sworn they worked at home. And it was because, yeah, if it gets too hot, they don't work. And I was telling somebody about this. Oh, they worked fine for me in Tenerife. It's like, yeah, but 53 degrees Celsius is a bit hotter than Tenerife, maybe. Anyway, this is the issue with supplying in the open, just in front of everybody. So you'd want to be behind on the rear side of these trees, basically. Obviously he was here, but they could see him anyway. So yeah, and it's the same with that I-Hawk. He just kind of dumped it there, and then it got... Oh, that's the helicopter. Here it is. There he is. This man died because of you. Look how messed up his fingers are. So yeah, the CEVs are really fun. They're just hard to use, but they're cheap, so... And you see how it is, right? The tanks, yes, but it's the tanks and the ATGMs, and the Jaguar 2 is a great example of this, but could you imagine if instead of this Wild Weasel, which has accomplished nothing all game, he had the cluster plane? Well, that'd be dead, for sure. Yeah, he wants a TOW 2 back here. Like, you'll have noticed Red just doesn't have any stingers at all. And so if he had his own TOW Cobra back here, the 11th ACAB TOW Cobras are better because they've got TOW 2s instead of TOW 1s. And they've got additional rockets. The regular TOW Cobras only have 14 rockets. But yeah, you'd have that back here, and that would be laying the pain down as well, and that would really help. But you see that the composition from Red is better. He's got ATGMs with his tanks, and his opponent doesn't have that. In general, he doesn't really get it. He would have to use infantry ATGMs, or like one here or something. And it's the ATGMs that are doing the work. So, like, can he win? I mean, 15 minutes to get 1,500 points, but there's nothing here either, so... It's possible. You know, I try not to be too harsh on people, because at the end of the day, the reason I'm good at the game is because I've wasted 3,000 hours of my life playing it, so it's not much of an accomplishment, is it? These guys probably go outside more than me, but... I'm so invested in your success that, you know... It's like, you can smoke this one. Okay. That's that 2-vet Abrams. It actually made it all this time. But yeah, imagine if Blue had bought a single TOW Cobra and, like, it's just landing in front. Like, all his helos are dying, and there's no AA here. The reason they're dying is because he's just running at him with the 50 cals. It's very, it looks very cool though. Although I've noticed a huge problem over here. And look, the CE, wow, incredible. Yes, it really sucks, the Wild Weasel. It is terrible. It used to be like 4 or 5 per card or something. It was... That's when it was useful, but... So, yeah, this is a +2. So losing that's a big issue. But, as you know, Blue doesn't have a Stinger here, so he could just send one of those helos over. I think he's still got a Sea Knight, or the other one. He might still have a quick fix. So yeah, he can just walk in here, and that'll give him a +2, but he needs more, because his opponent's been on a +2 all that time. So unless he gets more, he will lose, and his opponent's about to be on a +2 again, because this will be +2 to Red, and this will be +4 to Blue. And, you know, 2 4 minus 2 is 2. He's casually artillerying his own unit there. It does happen when you move up so far, because obviously the enemy used to be there when he gave that order. Presumably when he gave that order. And, yeah, blue, I don't understand why he didn't buy a Toke over it. Although I guess red would have just chucked a jet at it. Maybe he did, and red did chuck a jet at it, and I just missed it. But yeah, the combined arms from red was actually better. Blue had a lot of infantry. And then no smoke to support that infantry. So, watch the CEV. Skidoosh, immediate, 0 cohesion. Right, and that makes your... What? Accuracy reduced by 75%. So that immediately means you're operating at 25% DPS, but it's actually lower because it makes your aim time worse and your turn time worse. So you're operating at less than 25% DPS just on the accuracy alone, because it nerfs the reload time as well. It's like it could even be like 10%, like 15% roughly, because it depends on the turning and the aiming and so on. Because you've only got to aim once. But yeah, imagine if he'd had those cluster planes, right? Because the F-16, the I-Hawk shoots it, and then the cluster comes in dead. And then you just start picking all these off while they're out here. But he wanted that Wild Weasel, and as you can see, he's done nothing for him, so... Yeah. Look, these are the no-vet ones now. And they are useless, frankly, because... Well, he missed that shot, and look, his cohesion's just getting chunked. Now he has 50% DPS at mediocre cohesion. And now he's routed, and it'll take him about... Well, they've made 0 vet better, actually. We did request that, and they listened, because 0 vet used to be literally useless. It's still not very useful, but basically the suppression regeneration of 0 vet went up to 0.75. It used to be like 0.6 or something, but at 1 vet, it's 1.9. So yeah, it used to be 0.6, which was 3 times worse than 1 vet. Now it's 2.5 times worse or whatever, except be 1.5. So that was a nice change. Can't remember if we wanted more than that, or if we were just like, this is a good first step. It's good. I mean, those who remember, like one day you'd wake up and it's like, oh yeah, autocannons are overpowered now, and it wasn't like they're 5% better. It was like they just kill everything. And then the next patch it was autocannons are useless, don't bring Mardas anymore. And the patch after that it was like, oh yeah, Mortschützen just kill everything now. It's like, what? Like the swings were so big. Now it's all very incremental, and frankly the game is in a really good place. Now part of that is, of course, changes in who is making the decisions, but a big part of it is just the natural way of things when a game first comes out in early access. You know, there's big changes. Lots of things need to change. That's those who remember. But anyway, I mean, red's got a pretty good chance here now, actually, because I can't see blue getting back in here. And red's just going to keep sniping his stuff, and he doesn't have a cluster plane to just come and kill this. He's doing a good job trying to snipe these tanks with the arty. Although he's going to get counter battery now, presumably. No, that's going somewhere else. What was that aimed at? It's just finished its salvo. So why would... Was that... That can't have been aimed at that house. It was just aimed there. Anyway, the A-10's... Right, blue still has the fighters. He needs to get it behind this house. Just hide behind that house. Oh, he's using the smoke. Okay, that works too. And there you go. You need to move the I-Hawks, of course. He just lost a guy here, but he's not noticed. And he lost the Abrams to the arty, so this guy's going to kill those dismount troopers. And, yeah, the lack of infantry, I guess, didn't matter here, but it is airport. See the CEV there, bam. Useless. Come back in 3 minutes. Oh, he unloaded in time, that's good. But you see he's already suppressed from the vehicle explosion, that's good. That didn't used to happen. You used to be able to get infantry in a helicopter, fly over the enemy CV, and when you got shot down, you'd land, come out full cohesion, and bam, kill the CV. Got a video on the channel about that. It's called We Are ODST. But nobody watches the older ones, because they don't get recommended, and the thumbnails aren't great and stuff, but that's the way it used to be. So, I'm going to speed it up a little bit because, you know, yeah, I figured he wouldn't. So he's just going to keep running at him for the next 10, but like, it was a glorious game from Red. Like, he's taken this, and now it's just walking through the open into tanks and IFVs. You know, the Bradley could be in a... I suppose he's got to kill this first. He is actually going for this one, which is very aggressive. He doesn't have to do that, but I understand I would do it. Although it looks like Blue might get back in. Yeah, there is infantry, but he needs that smoke. He has the mortars. Wait for the mortars. You're not in a hurry here. Because if that kills you, what... And if that had sideshot him there, he'd be... Okay, so he's noticed the... Oh, but that smoke's now... Didn't quite wait for the smoke, but he got in, and this is a +2. So yeah, the map is blue side favoured, because Echo's easier to hold than Foxtrot, because it's got more depth to it. And, you know, the reinforcement lane is less... So this obviously is more covered, whereas this is open to Echo. And Papa is a lot easier to take than this one, Alpha. It's very rare to see people take Alpha. But yeah, I mean, it was a good game. I think they were quite even on the... I mean, Red obviously played a little bit better, but it wasn't like he's a million times better than in 5-minute game. Like, it was a pretty close game. Both players made some mistakes and did some good things. Like, I liked the... I mean, obviously... Blue's opener could have been a little bit better, but he got the zone, and he held on to it for quite a while. And, yeah, it's a Red victory, so... It's an interesting game. KD was actually pretty similar, so rank 128, this is rank 431. But you see the difference in rating is only 200, and that's not actually that much. So yeah, don't open with your heavy tanks unless you've got a fighter up. Generally, you open with the lighter stuff, and you know, bring those AA healers on 11th ACAV. They would have been very, very, very useful here, as you can see. And if you play an 8th US, bring the iHawk, please. Anyways, I'll see you around. GG.